One.
Hello, everyone. I'm Daryl from the MakeCode team at Darzu on the forum, and today with me are...
I'm Joey at JWondrill on the forum.
I'm Richard at Richard on the forum.
I'm Shannon at Shakao on the forum.
Awesome. So this week we have this theme of boss battles. So yesterday we did a boss battle using some starter code that basically looked like this. And today we were going to do another boss battle, also starting with a little bit of code already on in our workspace, just because you guys have seen code like this a bunch of times on our stream before, and we wanted to sort of get to more interesting mechanics instead of recreating this every time. But real quick, I'll run through some of what the code does. So we're able to set a gravity, jump height, player speed, projectile speed, so we can shoot left and right, and you'll fire in the last position you're looking or moving. And so we set these variables, we create the player, we move the player with some buttons, we set our initial life, and we call this create boss function, which right now does nothing. We will work on that during the stream. When you hit A, we jump, and during the game update, we do some logic to both fire our weapon at a certain speed and to keep track of which direction we were last looking. So that's kind of the bit of starter code we have there. Okay, so what kind of boss should we make? We talked a little bit about this before the stream. Shannon, would you like to summarize?
Yeah, so this is based off of one of the bosses from, I think, a Mega Man game. But the idea is that you have a boss that is slowly chasing you across the screen. So you have to jump from platform to platform while also fighting this boss. And the camera is moving at a steady rate. So if you fall behind, then you'll also die, even if the boss doesn't get you.
Yeah, it is a much dreaded auto scroller boss.
Auto scrolling, nice.
I like those. You need to have elite skills.
Yes. You need to have skills both in platform mechanics of jumping and then also of timing and fighting and dodging. So this sounds pretty tough. Let's get into it. So I think the first thing we want to do is make our level bigger. So instead of being yay big, let's go quite a bit bigger. I'm gonna say 64 wide. And we might even go bigger than that eventually. We'll see. We'll start with this. And let's see. I think we'll just add some platforms for our player to kind of jump between. And so if
one thing real quick, Dale. So if you have the edge of a tile map, by default that's a wall.
Yeah, you're right.
And so right now, because we're 8, we want to have the floor that you can kind of drop down into. So we're going to have to make the tile map a little taller.
Yeah, totally. All right, let's do that. Let's make the tile map a bit taller. And then at the bottom of the tile map, I think we want to create like something there that if we hit, we lose. So actually, I'll just do it all red. And this way we can detect if we fall off of the bottom of the world. That makes sense. And let's get all of that. Cool. Okay, so this is, if we hit this stuff, we lose. So if you fall off the level, yeah, we lose. Also, this week, we're not too concerned with the art of our level. We're just using kind of placeholder art, both so that you can kind of fill in the gaps yourself, and also so that we can move quickly and get to kind of more interesting content. So let's see. I'm going to try and make these very doable because you will be battling a boss, but still a little bit of a challenge to make sure you hit all these. What do you guys think? Does this look too hard yet?
Nah, we'll see. Depends on how fast it's scrolling.
It's doable.
Yeah.
So I should say that the max jump height that we have in the game right now is 3 blocks. So this is all doable so far.
Nice. Okay.
You should do a couple single block platforms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you had a little bit of a break there, and now you've really got to work for it. So we'll see how this goes. I think we're gonna need to make this quite a bit longer.
So I would say that in the Mega Man 2 boss fight that inspired this, it does stop scrolling eventually.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. So let me add these walls in here, just so that our player can land on these.
Is Mega Man 2 actually the second Mega Man game, or?
Yes, it was originally called Rockman in Japan, but it is the second game. It was for the NES, and it's probably the best Mega Man game. It's very good.
Cool. So right now our camera doesn't move anywhere, and my player just fell off. So let's add the scrolling camera. So I think for this, we'll just do this in on-game update. I'm probably going to bring out another on-game update so I don't clutter up the previous one. And I think every frame we'll just take the camera and we're going to move it.
I did see a good trick on the forum for this that somebody used, where they just made a 1 pixel sprite and they just gave it a velocity and made it a ghost. And that actually does it pretty smoothly, and it's easy to manage that way, because we could always say like, oh, we want it to move slower at this point, just lower the velocity.
Yeah, that's probably much easier.
That's a great idea, actually. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to create a sprite called, can we have multiple on-start blocks, by the way?
Nope.
No, but you can make it a function to break this out.
Right. Yeah, I'll do that. So let's add a function. I'm going to call this initialize camera. And we're going to call this from inside of onStart. And here we are going to this sprite that I was going to create. We're going to call this the camera target. And it's of kind camera, I guess, and doesn't need a visual. In fact, we're going to turn a couple properties on this camera target so that it is a ghost, meaning it doesn't collide with anything, and also invisible. Sure, I mean it's going to be invisible because it has no visual.
Yeah.
But maybe for debugging,
it's slightly more efficient. Now we don't need to draw those invisible pixels.
Yeah. Well, so for debugging, I might have it be visible, so you can see it there. And let's set the velocity of the camera target, and we'll probably put this in a variable. But first, I'm just gonna kind of tweak this and see what it looks like. That's pretty slow. See what 20 looks like. That, I feel like that might be tough.
That's gonna be pretty fast.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be faster once you actually start.
Yeah, let's have the camera follow the camera target. And now let's see kind of how this goes.
This seems doable.
Seems
we
doable.
can always slow it down once you add the boss too, depending on how.
Yeah, I think this is a good starting point, and then we can rebalance, as needed. Yeah, I'm really fighting that invisible boss behind us.
Doing so good, Daryl.
Thanks.
Still have all your lives.
Yeah, feeling good. Okay, so when nothing happened yet. So first of all, I'm going to turn on this invisibility on, and then I'm going to say, so falling off the world, we should lose the game. Should we lose the game, or should we lose some lives and then restart? Maybe. I don't know if that would be easy. Ooh,
you could
actually,
just teleport them straight.
Teleport them to the camera sprite and put the camera sprite at the top of the screen.
No, so what you want to, I think the easiest way to do this is you have an on-game update and you get the last location where they were on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just
that's true. No, I think I'm just gonna have us lose the game for now, and then we can make this more sophisticated later. Was Mega Man? Did you lose the game when you fell?
Yes, Mega Man is very harsh.
Oops, shoot. There we go, muted. Okay, so now we can no longer fall off. That's great. The other thing we wanted with our camera mechanics before I add the boss is that when we fall behind, we also lose the game. So that should be pretty easy. I think I can do that just on game update, and I'm gonna say if the player's position of what's our player name? The player, right?
Yep.
The player.
A member of the Arcade Advanced stream has different ways of naming variables.
So if the player is behind the camera's left position, then we lose, and not with confetti. Didn't mean to do that. All right, so let's see if we lose here. Oh, it should probably be not the X of the player, but the right of the player. You get like as much time as possible. Very
yeah,
generous.
you could even give him a few more pixels of wiggle room if you wanted.
Yeah, that's true. You might have a heroic save there. So let's say, let's do that. Let's say the player's right plus 10.
Minus.
Right?
No, you're right.
Yeah, I think we want it to be bigger. And
Yeah,
I'm going to do 32. That's an entire tile width, I think.
That's 2 tiles.
That's 2 tiles. Yeah.
Oh, that's 2 tiles. 16. 1 tile width. From the brink. And I lost. Okay. Great. I like these camera mechanics. Let's move on with the boss, I'd say, and then we can always tweak things as we go. Okay, so the boss. Before the boss was a purple blob on the right. Let's have
It had a name, Daryl.
Oh yeah, Albert. Okay. What's this boss's name? Maybe we should.
It should start with a B.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what was the other name from that Wings song?
Brandon?
I don't know.
All right, I'll figure it out. Give me a sec.
How about after the Seattle Tunnel Boring Machine? What was that called? Bertha?
Oh.
Bertha's a good boss name.
And we just have to dedicate the next 24 streams after this to the cause.
Yeah, and go over budget. Is that how you spell Bertha?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that. I mean, it's our boss. Great. So I'm going to create Bertha, and instead of just the enemy, it's going to be Bertha.
I feel some shade being thrown in my direction.
No, not at all. I mean, maybe only a little bit. Nah. How tall was the other one? Was it like 48?
Yeah,
No.
I think so.
That seems really tall. But yeah, let's try it. What color? I mean, maybe this is sort of Seattle inspired, I'm thinking.
In what way?
I feel like, well, I guess we're more neon green and blue and things like that. I feel like teal's a Seattle color. Well, we can't do green.
Is neon green. Yeah. Feels like watercolored.
Blue maybe. We're the Emerald City, right? This is close to Emerald-ish. By the way, a lot of us are from Seattle. That's why I'm talking about it right now.
50% of us.
I think you're the only one who's from Seattle.
Joey's from the Pacific
we've
Northwest.
all been in
I'm
Seattle.
from Washington, so I guess.
Wait, so what did I do wrong here? So let me see. Oh, weird. Our function didn't get renamed correctly.
Probably get the space.
Yeah.
Another bug.
So this boss seems somewhat menacing. Let's see. So the boss, I think. I'm trying to think they should kind of move and then attack and then fall back and move and attack. I don't think they want to be just right on the edge of the screen the whole time, or should it just kind of keep up at the same speed as the camera?
So one thing that might be fun is, what if we had it start on the left, just kind of moving up and down, and then it flies up and then comes back down on the right, and now it's in front of you.
Whoa, that sounds tough.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to fire in both directions.
Let me think about that. So it's big enough of a boss that I feel like it might totally stop us from being able to move forward, right? We can't jump over this boss.
But if it was all the way on the right, you would have plenty of room.
Oh, if it's on the right,
it
stays towards the right.
Yeah.
Like the camera's moving in the boss.
Yeah, the boss should be stuck to the camera, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We could start by having it just follow the camera from one side, though.
Yeah. We could just make it screen relative.
No, you can't do that, because then we won't be able to fire projectiles at it and get overlap events.
Oh, okay, right. That makes it like at the UI.
Yeah. It will be drawn relative to camera, but it won't be in the camera location.
Mm-hmm.
So the projectiles will not overlap with it.
Right. Let's see.
Well, we can still explicitly place it in the non-game update, though.
Mm-hmm.
You do camera right and then, or camera left plus screen width or something like that, whatever it ends up being.
So I have an idea. I'm just going to try really quick, which is that boss is chasing. So I'm going to try this thing where I'm going to say boss is chasing is false, and then every second, if boss is chasing, then I'm going to say boss is not chasing. So I'm sort of thinking the boss will move and then stop, and so it'll sort of move, like alternate between moving and not moving. So and the way I think we could do this is with follow. So we can just have, oh, whoops, not that follow, this follow. We could have the have Bertha follow the camera target, and otherwise, how do you cancel a follow?
You have to say follow undefined.
Or follow 0. Press plus. That'll work.
Oh, I see. So let's see. I just kind of want to see what this looks like, and maybe this can be part of our mechanic.
You're immediately setting it to false. So
yes, I think you need to get rid of that.
Oh yeah. So follows for a little while. Oh, that's way too fast of an interval.
what is going on?
So you thought my thing was too difficult?
All right. This
is actually pretty easy right now because it's just gonna run to a wall right away.
Yeah. All right. Let's try the bouncing around thing. So what I'm confused about how we would do this, Richard, is how do you avoid make the boss avoid all these platforms?
You don't.
Mm-hmm. So you just turn on Ghost for it while it's moving?
No, you just set the position in the game update using an offset, and you change the offset to be either positive or negative. Because you said it explicitly, it should always work.
Mm-hmm.
Only when it's a big enough difference.
Yeah, it'll sort of snap through walls, I'm pretty sure, right? It'll
adjust a little bit if you're like slightly overlapping a wall, but if the boss is a big sprite, so
yeah.
Regardless, you have the exact same problem if it's following from the other direction.
Yeah,
And the camera follow also the follow sprite thing also won't work because it'll run to the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Could we have it come from behind and eat the ground? That's kind of menacing.
We could.
But to hit the player, it's still got to go through those platforms.
Well, I think what Joey is saying is if on boss hit wall, set wall to false, set trial to transparency.
Mm-hmm.
So it basically eats it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, that's not a bad idea. Let's try something like this.
Wait,
so,
but that means if you're standing on a platform and the boss hits it, you'll fall through it?
Yeah. He ate your ground.
let's see. I like the idea of the boss being able to eat platforms because then you don't have to. Then we can move kind of in whichever way we want. And
one of these days we're gonna have to make a boss battle where you have to fire in both directions.
That's fair. I don't have a clear idea of how to do that right now. Well, let me start with this. So on kind of enemy overlaps green at location, what we can do is
so that won't actually work because it doesn't overlap because it's a wall.
Oh, right. We need the other one. Hits wall. Oh, no, we don't have location. All right.
So one thing though, how are you setting the position right now for Bertha? How is Bertha sticking to the screen?
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, well, because it starts inside of a wall. And I think when it's in a wall, so I think if we go far enough, Bertha will then get pushed back.
How's it being repositioned each frame?
It's got velocity right now.
Oh, it does? Oh, okay.
So now I think Bertha's
can you try manual? Yeah, there we go. Can we just see what it looks like if you set the position in the game update?
Yeah, should we do that?
Oh, it doesn't have to be. Yeah, maybe good.
Every frame.
Yeah.
No frame. By some speed.
No, just set the position.
Mm-hmm.
You set the left to camera left.
To set the left to camera left.
Get rid of the velocity.
Yeah, so this will work for sure. Well, I guess I shouldn't say.
It'll be wonky.
I think it'll flicker a little when it first hits. But let's see.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
It's not too bad. Will this trigger the overlaps code when it pushes through like that?
I don't know actually.
It will.
I
don't think it should ever let you to exactly overlap the wall. It will always be offset from the wall unless you get directly head on in the center of it.
Let's see if this triggers. This is a good, discovery for us as a team. Enemy overlaps green. Then we're going to do our favorite sprite, say. So it's not triggering yet. Let's see if it triggers here. No. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought would happen.
Yeah. Okay, so we can't use that overlap event, but it does look like we can do this, which is we just set the position kind of how we want relative to the camera, and that will work. So I'm going to push it off of the back a little bit because I think it looks a little weird to have kind of no back with the edge there. So the boss can start there, and let's add some of the combat code, I think, and then we can do some more positioning later. Okay. because this is already a little bit of a challenge. All right, so I think one thing we're going to want is when the player overlaps the boss. Oh, maybe that's why it happened, because the boss is of type boss, I think. Oh, no, it's of type enemy. I should make it of type boss. Yes. Oh, okay, so we already have code here for the boss projectile.
Oh, whoops. I forgot to delete that from the starter code. It's my bad.
I'm going to keep it around for now. We'll see. So when the player overlaps the boss, I think what we want to happen is we lose a life, and we should probably get, like, rocketed forward or something. What do you guys think?
I think if you do that and you get rocketed forward, you're just immediately going to fall off.
Oh, because you won't be able to control. Yeah, this is tricky.
I think it's pretty common for them to like lag behind instead of you rocketing forward. Like they hit you and then all of a sudden they fall back.
Yeah, so you could make it so just that when the boss hits you, the boss stops moving.
Mm-hmm.
But that won't cause the overlap event to cancel. You could
Yeah.
make the boss rocket off in the opposite direction, and then come back.
Well,
if we just want to throttle the overlap, we can use the pause trick.
So
Also, it's probably the cleanest way to do it. I would use the pause.
So if you put a pause for a second at the end, it will just kill the overlap for a second.
Yeah.
And then we can do something like we set the velocity of the camera to 0, pause for a second to let you fix yourself and move further forward, and then turn the camera back on. The camera sprite's velocity back on.
Right. Yeah, we could do that. So we hit this, and then we get a little bit of a break.
Yeah, you made it a little too short.
Oh, yeah. A second. Okay. Yeah, so that sort of works. So yeah, let's do the camera pause thing. So what I'm going to do is move the camera speed variable to a variable, because I think it's hard-coded right now. I'm going to say a new variable, camera speed. And what did I have? I had 20, I think.
Yeah, 15, I think.
20.
20, yep.
20, I'm going to get a variable get. I'm going to place that here. And let's see. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is say sprites set the, before the pause, set the camera targets velocity in the x to be some fixed amount less than their normal speed, or maybe it'll be not a minus but a divide. Let's say half. So the camera moves at half speed, and then after this pause, then the camera goes back to normal speed.
You should do a little bit of a camera shake too.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So we have this wonderful camera shake event thing that we can do. And let's see how this looks. So yeah, the camera shook, and you can see it does slow down. I think it maybe should slow down even more, or for longer. Yeah, I think for longer, and let's see if we also should do it for a little bit more.
You could just take it down to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Take it down to 5? Oh, the speed?
So 1/4 of it.
Yeah. So maybe short amount of time, but total much more stopped.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, this seems good. Cool. So let's have some have the boss fight in more than just attacking with the with its body. Okay, so to do this, I think what I want to do is let's think of. Oh boy, we just got run over there. So the Mega Man boss actually had flames coming from it. I thought that was kind of fun. I wonder if we could get flames going. What do you guys think? Can we do flames?
We could do flames. Is that going to end up being the same as the boss from yesterday?
Lots of little particles. I was thinking like bigger, slower particles that are like big circles. They're sort of red and orange.
What if we created those and then we had them follow the player sprite at a really slow speed?
Mm-hmm.
When you hit them with your projectile, they get destroyed.
Yeah.
So they either get destroyed by you hitting them or you shooting them.
Sounds great. All right, let's add. So I'm gonna remove this code because I'm just not sure what we want from the boss projectiles yet. So every second, let's create a projectile from Bertha that it will have, just a little bit of initial velocity in the right direction. We don't really care there because we're going to set that with the camera follow.
Oh, are you making a circle? Are you bringing a circle into our beautiful world of squares?
Yes. Blasphemous, I know. So we've got these circles being created now. And actually, why did the first one? Oh, it started right away. That's fine. So let's have these follow the player. And we're going to have projectile 2 follow the player with a fairly slow speed of, so the camera's at 20, so it should be faster than the camera, but not much faster, maybe 40. And yeah, I think we need to set these, let's see, the projectile left to the right of the boss. Oh, actually, yeah, no, what's happening here is the first one is being created in the center because the boss gets moved. So I kind of want...
You could just create the boss on the left side of the screen.
That's true. That's true. That's easy enough. Where is the boss code? Create Bertha. Okay, so I can just say set position of Bertha to somewhere on the left, just so that first projectile is better positioned. So I think the player should start farther to the right. As well. I feel like it's in a disadvantageous position right now.
So you could also pause before we create the camera target.
Yeah. So, or we can pause before we create Bertha.
Could do both. Could pause before we do both, and then.
Will
this work? I think this will work.
Yeah.
I think it'll create the fire from the center of the screen. No. Why didn't that? Huh.
So this, I'm gonna give us a couple of seconds to just sort of orient ourselves, and then maybe we'll have a nice intro for the boss as well. So these projectiles are getting destroyed by the terrain, but I think that's kind of okay because you could use that to your advantage to sort of hide behind certain things.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's have it so that our projectiles destroy those projectiles and have those projectiles damage us. So I'm going to say when these projectiles, I'm going to change the kind to boss projectile. Say projectile 2 is going to be of kind boss projectile, and projectile is the kind that the player shoots. So when the two different types of projectiles hit, both just get destroyed and nothing else happens. So let's do that. And we could destroy ours with that sort of disintegrate. What did we have before? It was
Yeah,
like
disintegrate with like a really short time. I think it was like 10 milliseconds or something.
I think the minimum it will stay is going to be about 30 milliseconds, no matter what. So
okay.
doesn't
Actually,
matter.
I think ooh, this one could go down in fire for 50.
It could always be on fire.
Oh, that's true. It could always be on fire. Yeah, that might work better actually. Let's.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the fire as a destroy effect because it doesn't immediately disappear in that.
Yeah. So yeah, let's just do this. So we have these handy particle effects that you can attach to just about anything. Well, sorry, you can attach them to sprites. And you can also do, we want that infinite, so I'm not going to hit the plus. Yeah, pretty good. It's a little overstated, I would say, from what I would, envision. With the simple art style, I think I'm going to just leave this one off for now. We can always come back to that. Okay, so we've got the boss appears, and it's shooting at us. I think this is going to be way too easy for us, though. We don't have any boss health or anything yet, do we? So I can just shoot forever and nothing happens. We also don't impact the boss. So let's add some boss health. So I'm going to create a variable. We actually already have a boss health variable from the starter code. It just hasn't been set. Boss health. And let's set this to, 100. And then when our projectile overlaps the boss, then we want to destroy our projectile. And we want to decrement the boss health by 1. So I think this lets us...
That's increasing it.
Oh, I'm increasing it, yes.
We're making it more powerful.
It's going to take a while before it overflows, and then we're good.
100 might have been a lot to test with. I got lucky on that jump.
I think you're not checking for game over either, though. So.
Yeah, there's going to be no game over win. Oh, yeah, nothing's going to happen. So I might as well just do that here. Or, yeah, I'll do it here. We could do this in on-game update if there's other places that could change the boss health. But for now, we know it's just here. So let's get the boss health. And we say if the boss health is less than or equal to 0, then we want to do something which is win the game. Game over, win. All right. So now we've got, we got something that's we can win and lose. And I don't think it's very balanced yet. And the boss isn't terribly interesting yet. I do really like this camera dynamic though, where you have to kind of move forward and do a few things at once. That definitely adds some challenge to the game.
Maybe we can make it so it speeds up over time, but the lower the boss's health is, the slower it moves. So you attacking it makes it easier.
Yeah. Don't bosses usually go the other direction? Like the lower the health they go, the more powerful they are?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you also need to do boss projectile overlaps with us.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But I would actually come at it from the other direction. I would make the projectiles have lives. So if we use the sprite data, we make it take like 3 hits to get rid of a projectile. They become less of a trivial thing to clear.
Right. Yeah, I like that idea. Let's do that. So first of all, we're going to destroy this boss projectile.
You should change the color each time.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Change the color. Oh,
like
every time.
Fire, right? So it starts out yellow and then it goes orange and then red or something.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay, so we're talking about using the sprite data extension. So if you search for sprite data, I think it is, or is it arcade sprite data? Arcade sprite data. Then you will see this extension. And what that does, we've talked about this on stream a few times, is adds a bunch of blocks here. that let you record certain information on the sprites themselves. So this is like custom information that's not built into to Arcade. So when we are creating these projectiles, and yeah, let's start with like kind of an extreme color, maybe yellow, and then it turns to red. So I'm going to say sprite set sprite data to a number. Whoops. Sorry. Let's set the projectile to. Oh, we have so many variables. Projectile to health to 3, and yeah, or we'll tweak that as we go. I have a feeling we might want to make it much higher than that. Okay, so when our projectile overlaps with the boss projectile, instead of destroying the boss projectile, which is this other sprite, what I'm going to do instead is go to the sprite data for that projectile, and I'm going to say that health projectile should be changed by -1, and then I'm going to do a check similar to the boss here, which is, that was probably unnecessary, which is just seeing if the other projectile, the boss projectile's health, is less than or equal to 0. If it is, destroy other sprite. And then we want to do this color change thing too. Whoops. So destroy other sprite. But before I do the color change thing, let's just see if this kind of works. So they're appearing. Oops. And that didn't finish that off. But if I shoot a bunch, then I can destroy them. Yeah.
We could add just the disintegrate without the destroy too, so that it partially disintegrates each time you hit it.
Oh. Does that work?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a destructive operation.
Oh, interesting.
So if you do under effects.
One sec. Effect. So this effect?
Yep.
So I'm going to say other sprite, effect, disintegrate for 100 milliseconds.
Ashes is actually just the same effect without this destructive portion.
Oh. So if I shoot it just once, oh, that's cool. Actually, let's see. So 1 time looks like that. 2, 3 looks like that. Yeah, I think that's pretty great. And then as we had more health to these projectiles, I think we want a lot more health to these projectiles. Then
I think they should have more health and they should spawn at a slower rate. We're getting too many right now.
Yes, I agree. Let's add quite a bit more. Maybe at least 10. I'd say let's balance is tricky. Let's
I want to try 3 things. Let's try that 15 is good. Let's change it to every 3 seconds, and let's set the speed to like 35 instead of 40.
Sweet. Okay, we can do all those things. This disintegrate, I think I need to tone it down. Where did that go? So probably,
if we're adding that much health, we probably just want to remove that actually, because it's not scaled with the duration, the number of things that's removed. We can do it in JavaScript if you want to just copy and paste it and make a new one, but it takes like 30% of the pixel each time.
I see.
Yeah. Okay. So
then it just becomes really hard to see. Okay, let's remove this for now. Okay. I'm gonna try and actually win this one and just see kind of how hard it is. So, whoops. I'm pretty bad at jumping sometimes. That first block I added there is actually pretty mean. Okay. I lost a life on that one. Yeah, there's times like this when I feel like there's no threat, and
I think that.
But that's okay. Yeah, like now
Yeah.
you have 2 following you and 3. Hey.
I win. Okay, yeah. I mean that wasn't too easy.
I think if you wanted to make it more difficult, you should actually counterintuitively get rid of some of the vertical platforms, because they take out the boss projectiles.
Mm-hmm.
You could also
a little bit
get
more.
rid of destroy on wall if you want, and then it would bunch up the projectiles.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should still have some visual indicator of how damaged the boss projectile is. Like, when it gets down to like a third or something, you disintegrate it once, or.
Yeah. So maybe let's. I'm going to duplicate this a few times. There's probably a cleaner way to do this. But
personally, I prefer the color to the disintegrate, but we could do the disintegrate too. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm down with whichever.
Let's try the color since we've already done the disintegrate on stream. So, folks will have an idea of how to do that. So I'm going to say if the, let me think about this. So if the health is above 0, that's our last case. Otherwise, if it's below, what is the health right now? 15. So if it's below 10, we do something. If it's below 5, we do something. If it's I guess we have one too many cases. Below 5.
I think you should do equals.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll get the exact. It'll happen each time.
And right, we can only change it by 1 at a time anyway. So if it's 0, we destroy it. If it's if we hit 10, if we hit 5, then we do these different things. And the thing we're going to do, I think we're going to use the image category. I'm going to say change color. So in the image of the projectile, we're going to change from, what did it start? It starts yellow, we go to orange, and then we go from orange to red. All right, let's see how this looks.
Is this going to apply to every project? It shouldn't, but it might be weird. No, I don't think it is.
No, it should be fine.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Nice. It doesn't show up as red for very long. Did I do something wrong?
No, I think it never got to red before it hit a wall.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, these projectiles are quite menacing. Great. I'm thinking the boss should move too. Like, I think it's a little boring to have the boss just sort of be stuck there.
Sounds like a sine wave.
We could.
You have that game tick. You could just do the sign of the game.
Current time.
Yeah, and then scale it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's try that. Okay, so on game update. Oh, do we already have an on game update? We do.
Yeah, we're setting the left.
Yeah, so let's say we set the Y to the math. Where is it? Is it this one?
Yeah.
The sign. So this is going to be weird, and so I'm going to have to change this, but I'm going to start with this. On game update. And so I think a number of things are going to have to change. We're probably going to want to scale this and also scale.
Yeah.
Okay,
so times 120, right?
Yeah. So we want to.
You could do the camera target Y plus this.
And
that should, because sine goes positive.
Center it. Sure. Yeah.
Oh.
So sine is a great way to smoothly sort of transition between -1 and +1. If you have like a constantly incrementing value, like our time, a way to like turn it into an up and down wave is to stick it in a sine.
Can we use the
first
map block?
The camera target walk.
Really easily here. I think math.map actually will work here. So
Oh, yeah.
You can just do -1 to 1 and then 0 to 160.
Yes.
Or 10 to 1.
And we're going to have to, there's a bunch of things we'll have to do. So first, let's map the output of the sign from...
You're not going to do 2 maps, are you?
What's that?
I don't think we need to. I think this will work.
Oh, okay. So so the low is going to be 0 and the high is going to be
no, you can just multiply it by a number. It's going from -1 to 1, so if you multiply it by 10, it'll go from -10 to 10.
Yeah, I could. The map reads nicely. So let's see. So if I just do screen height here, and I think I can actually get rid of this for now because we're mapping over the entire screen. Let's see how this looks. So it's a little fast. So I think we need to divide this time since game start by some amount. And that amount probably needs to be something big. Let's see.
Oh, I just thought of a really good trick. All right, there's one other thing that I think you should do when you're setting this position. Set ghost on, set the position, then set ghost off.
That'll work. Yep, perfect.
Oh, so it doesn't clip through the or it doesn't get on the
you don't get the physics weirdness. Yeah.
Yep. This will work for now. I think we should definitely do the separate ignore walls from ghosts too in the future.
So you can map from, I think you're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, I think I want to change these a little bit. So I'm going to not do the full height. I'm going to do some offset, let's say 64 from here.
Well, now you're going between 64 and like 65.
Oh, 32? Still not a lot of room, maybe. Let's see.
That'll be most of it because you're doing the Y, so it's centered on the thing. That's actually
that looks great.
Good. I like that. Let's do this ghost thing that they're talking about. So what's happening here is the physics engine thinks that Bertha is supposed to be colliding with walls, and that causes it when you change
other way
around.
This way. Wait, actually, does this work?
Yeah, it'll work.
Okay. So now you can see there's actually we'll tell when we hit this thing. Did it hop over it? Yeah.
That would have been great if you just happened to get the exact wave that made it avoid all of them. But yeah, this will work.
I'm pretty certain this will work.
I think it did. I think it worked on that first platform at the beginning. But
yeah, it's looking like it's working right now. So this seems good. The boss is sort of moving. That also helps the fireballs occasionally launch from higher up, which makes them harder. So I think one thing at minimum that we should do here is that once we hit the edge of the tile map, will it just stop naturally because the sprite can't
stop naturally?
Yes, it will stop naturally.
Okay.
The camera will stop too because it runs out of space.
Let's see if I can survive that long.
I don't think it'll stop for the reason you're thinking, Daryl, though. It'll stop because the camera gets boxed into the thing. The sprite will keep going forever.
Yeah. The camera is always constrained within the tile map if you have a tile map. So the sprite will be a million miles away, but you're still good.
Yeah, eventually it'll cause an overflow or something.
Daryl.
Yeah, I have a lot of health, turns out.
10 feels like a lot, but it's also fairly hard still.
Oh, this is a terrible place to fight.
Yeah, you should move those. You should move those
down. But yeah, that's great that it naturally sort of stopped like that. Let's have these be down low. I think that's both harder for us and that.
I don't think I ever knew that it moved wall and that at the same time. That's nice.
No, I think you're right. I think that's right. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, what do you guys think of our game? I think we just have a couple minutes left. Should we start naming?
I think the naming convention was kind of established yesterday. I named the first one Versus Albert.
Yeah. So what is this?
33rd? 35th.
35th. Yeah.
35th. Stream verse Bertha. Is that right?
Yeah.
Cool. We have a couple of minutes. Any last features you guys want?
I think it would be really cool if every time the boss got hit, it said a quip to the player. Just something clever.
Yeah.
The boss is gonna get hit a lot.
Yeah, no, I know. You're gonna have to write a lot of them, Daryl. I want each to be unique.
We need to make an extension that's just.
Well, it has to be randomized, so you're gonna need more than 100.
But it shouldn't repeat. No, you should do 100, but then maybe do a pseudo-random sequence so that it goes through all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So.
Give each of them like a rating from 0 to 100.
You off in like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
I about it too.
I'm gonna try.
Share the code.
I must do this. Yeah. Okay. I'll save the code. It's fine. Say.
Now the boss is just gonna say key face every time you hit it.
Pick random between 0 and.
Okay, can you share the code as it was 5 minutes ago?
Yes. Can do this. Share. Publish project.
Thank you.
Now Richard's happy. Let's rename this to Quips. And yeah, I'm not going to be able to variable get.
All right, everybody. Well, like I said, we have a hard out too.
Okay. Couldn't do it in time.
Hey, those are some pretty good quips. A,
for
B, and
tuning
C.
in. And yeah, this was our second boss, and tomorrow we will have another boss, so tune in.